Hello guys, welcome to my channel. The less is more. So today we will discuss an editorial from Indian Express and it is on the ideas page of 3rd July. Okay. So and we have discussed many UC topic related to UCC and IR, but now we will focus another topic so that it's not get monotonous. And the topic today is economy. Then in the upcoming days we will take environment. Okay, then polity related and social issues as well. Okay, so that it's not get monotonous. So let's start the editorial directly. The title of the today's editorial is No Leapfrogging in Sight. Indian economic size is about that of China in 2007. But without a spur to manufacturing, India will be hard pressed to follow China's growth trajectory. In some ways, the India of today is similar to the China of 2007. As per Moody's, the Indian economy has recently crossed $3.5 trillion in size. The IMF expects it to exceed 3.7 this year. A decade and a half ago, the Chinese economy was of comparable heft. China then had a per capita income of $2694, while the IMF expects India's per capita income to rise from $2379 in 2022 to $2601 in 2023. Though there are other areas of similarity, more profound are the points of divergence. These have implications for India's growth trajectory. There are points of divergence. These have implications for India's growth trajectory. What is the first one? The underlying drivers of growth in the two countries differ. China's meteoric rise has been driven by the investments and exports between 2003 and 2011. The country's investment to GDP ratio averaged 40%. In comparison, even during this high growth phase, the investment ratio in India averaged only about 33%. Worryingly, the gap between the two countries has widened since. In the years from 2012 to 2021, as the Chinese economy pulled further away, its investment ratio climbed even higher, averaging almost 43%. In India, it fell to around 29% as the investment momentum tapered off. While there are some signs of activity picking up in few sectors, after this almost decade-long slowdown induced by the twin balance sheet problem, how investments fare over the coming years will have a bearing on whether India attains upper middle income status as per the timelines being currently projected. Most of the data has been sourced from the World Bank. Then there are exports. In 2022-23, India's exports of goods and services surpassed $770 billion, while imports were around $890 billion. In 2007, when the Chinese economy was of comparable size, the country's export has crossed $1.2 trillion, driven by exports of goods, not services, while imports stood at $950 billion, signaling its deeper integration with the global economy. China's emergence as the epicenter of global supply chains over the decades has been facilitated in part by the lowering of tariffs. The country's tariff rate, simple mean, fell from 10.69% in 3 to 8.93% in 7, declining further 5.32 in 2020. In comparison, while India's tariff rate fell from 25 to 8 in 2017, it has risen thereafter. Between 7 and 21, China's exports average about 24% of GDP. While India's exports have averaged roughly 21% over this period, they were almost stagnant at around 90% between 15 and 20. Though exports, especially of services, have picked up over the past few years, the question now is, can this momentum be sustained, and will it continue to be driven by services, or will goods exports also pick up? This will have implications for job creation and the broader economy. China also had and continues to have a considerably higher labor force participation rate. In 2007, its labor force participation stood at almost 73%, ages 15 and above model ILO estimate. It has since declined to 67%. In India, the participation rate is estimated around 50% in 2022. As the male labor force participation rate in both countries is roughly the same, the difference is largely due to female participation. In China, the female labor force participation rate stood at 66% in 7. By 2022, it had declined to 61%. In India, it was considerably lower at 30% in 2007 and has since fallen even further to 24% in 2022. A bigger labor force has implications for spending capacity, and if sales of passenger cars, a marker of an increase in discretionary spending, are any indication, there are significant differences. In 22-23, passengers car sales in India stood at 3.8 million. In comparison, in 2007, 6.3 million cars were sold in China. A higher labor force participation rate and expansion of the market will necessarily require female participation to increase in India. In terms of the sectoral deployment of their labor forces, there are some broad similarities. In 2007, 41% of the labor force in China was engaged in agriculture, 27% in industry, and 32% in service. For India, the comparable numbers were 44%, 25%, and 31%. So, this is the data or the fact that you can mention in your mains answer, the comparative data of China and India. This is what you can extract from the editorial. Okay. The labor force participation, 41%. See, this is China. 41% in agriculture, manufacturing and service. This is 41, then 27 in manufacturing and 32 in service. In India, 44, 25 and 31. See, agriculture India is little bit higher, in manufacturing little bit low, and in service just 1% low. Okay, this is in 2007. And this is 2007 and this is 2021, almost 14 years ahead after. In China, the labor force employed in agriculture fell by roughly 1.5 percentage points per year between 3 and 19. In India, it declined by around 1 percent point. The question now is, if India's labor force in agriculture continues to fall at its pre-pandemic pace over the coming decade, the trend has reversed in recent years. Where will they be employed? In the past, the bulk of jobs in India have been created not in manufacturing but in construction and services like trade and transport. However, as formal manufacturing is much more productive than these sectors, it is twice as productive as transport, 2.5 times more productive than trade, and 3.75 times more productive than construction. As per estimates presented in the economic survey, the lack of employment generation in this sector has been and still remains India's biggest growth challenge. In the coming years, even if low and semi skilled job creation in manufacturing falls short, it is possible that Indian economy will manage to chug along, but only so. It will be hard to match the kind of explosive growth that China has witnessed between 7 and 21. The Chinese economy grew at 8% on an average per year, while the Indian economy grew at 6%. Unless investment activity picks up, and unless exports, especially of goods, picks up, and unless the female labor force participation and low and semi skilled employment in formal manufacturing pick up. As before, the path to getting richer quickly remains the same. So we have seen, guys, this is a good conclusion that you can rise is that is very optimistic. In the coming years, even if low and semi skilled job creation in manufacturing falls short, it is possible that the Indian economy will manage to chug along, but only so. It will be hard to match the kind of explosive growth that China has witnessed. It will be hard to match the kind of explosive growth that China has witnessed between 7 and 21. The Chinese economy grew at 8% on an average per year, while the Indian economy grew at 6%. Unless investment activity picks up, unless exports, especially of goods, picks up, unless the female force participation and low and semi skilled employment in manufacturing, formal manufacturing, pick up, it grows at 6%. So this was for today, guys. Okay, this is was today's editorial, that we have to more focus on the manufacturing sector, and so that the people or the labor force that is living the agriculture at 1% per year will be employed where? In manufacturing sector. So for engaging those labor force which are living the agriculture must be employed at the manufacturing, because it gives more turnaround or the more multiplying effect than any other things we have seen in these also. Okay, let me relocate it again. Yes, the bulk of jobs in India have been created not in manufacturing but construction and services. However, formal manufacturing is much more productive than these sectors. Twice of transport, 2.5 of trade, and 3.75 times than construction. So it is much more productive to establish manufacturing unit than going into the service sector. Though right now the service sector is booming, but the potential opportunities are still remains in the manufacturing sector. Okay, so I hope the guys who are listening to me, I would like to say that do venture in the manufacturing sector. Okay, have your own startup, be it anything. It's not matter how small the company is. Eventually you will get the bigger company, your company will get larger by day and day. So the Ford was not built in a day, Amazon was not built in a day. Okay, so have faith in yourself. That is what will give you the strength. Okay, so and do working on your strength, do working on your weaknesses. Even also the people are saying that we work on your strength, but I would say that work on your weakness, so that it does not remain weakness anymore, right? So face your fears. I would like to tell you that face your fears daily, because fear, whenever you have doubt in your mind, just be aware that it's a doubt, it can be a fear, it's a temporary emotions, that you are facing. So don't worry much about it, it's just a temporary emotion. Just do whatever you want to do, don't let the fear overpower you. Okay, so and I would also recommend you to comment in the comment section the 5 words that you would like to get to know from this editorial. Okay, or the data that you get. Okay, 5 points or the 5 data that you would like to use it in your preparation. Okay, so this was for today guys, till then bye bye, signing off for the day.